All right, this is SFBarkast. I am Jeff Cleary.
I am Andrew Lauder.
And Andrew, where are we today?
We're at ElRio.
ElRio, in the Mission.
In the, outer mission? Like,
I don't know, like...
or is this middle mission? What is this? What is it? What the hell is this called?
How far down do you have to be before you're out of the mission?
See, I thought like...
The 30th? 30th Street?
I guess. Like, I was almost thinking like the mission proper sort of ends when Valencia and Mission, like, fuse.
Mission
but, like,
proper.
Mission proper. The inner mission, if you will.
So this is on Mission Street at... Ooh.
Sort of between Valencia and...
It's between Cesar Chavez and I don't know what the next one up. Maybe like 27th, 26th?
All right, yeah. Sure. Yeah, why not?
Right, exactly.
Look it up.
It's right across the street from that barbecue place that has the big sign that says drugs.
As usual, if you tuned in for concise geographic coordinates on how to get here, will be sorely disappointed.
ElRio. Okay,
Rio,
people,
just
get your GPS out.
God, really, like, what does it take you? 3 seconds to type that into Yelp? Like, leave us alone.
And one of the things I really like about this bar is they have this great patio backyard.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, and we're here on a Sunday, and I'm sure this place gets like packed at, on the at Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll probably get packed by the time we finish this. But like it just opened at 1, and it's just, you know, when in San Francisco, when you find a bar that has a patio where you can sit in the sun, you hold on to that bar. That's
priceless.
A keeper.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, and especially like a day like today is perfect. It's like this last week it was like really kind of brutally hot a couple of days, and like I know that everyone in the rest of the world probably like is like, oh, it got up to 90. You must be like
90 is.
You must be putting on or taking off a sweatshirt, you know, jerks.
90 is really hot. I don't care.
It is really hot, but you know what? Like, but if you're like used to like Northeast summers or Chicago or something like that, where it's like 100% humidity and 100 degrees, like like the humidity isn't bad here, like ever.
Yeah,
really.
It's not that bad here. And also, I don't want to hear anyone give us shit about how much worse their weather is where they live. It's like, well, you live there. It's like, whose fault is it? Is it my fault that the weather here is good?
I have to apologize for coming out of the gate so antagonistic towards everybody. I'm like, fuck your weather, like fuck you,
live in San
like,
Francisco,
your directions.
If you don't live in San Francisco, Robert Zachary, we'll fight you.
That's right. If you're not at this bar right now, you suck dicks.
But the backyard here is amazing, and they have like a shuffleboard table inside, which has strangely enough become really in vogue.
Has it?
In San Francisco, like
I thought,
shuffleboard tables. I thought pinball was gonna be.
Well, I thought shuffleboard sort of like came and went, like so it's sort of on a rebound, or like because I remember like sort of late '90s, like it was like it's like they discovered gold or something like that.
It's like
oh my God,
Dr. Teeth has one now, and the Doc's Clock always had one. And I don't know how long they've had this one here. I think they've had this one here forever.
Yeah.
But I just I keep running into people who are getting more and more into shuffleboard, bar shuffleboard, not like on a Carnival cruise.
Well, I wonder if there's there's a certain amount of like you feel like you're better than like the cruise ship shuffleboard players. Like if it's like the difference between like field hockey and ice hockey or something like that, where it's like, oh, you play that Carnival Cruise Line stuff. Like,
have you ever been on a cruise?
I was on a very short cruise
Not
for like
cruising.
a girl's 21st birthday. Like
okay.
like it was like a cruise from like LA to Ensenada, which is like a day, and then and then back. Like
I have
it's
like
awful.
family.
I hate it so much.
I have family who do it, and like I've never done it before. But so I figured like, oh, it'd be interesting to find out if it's cool or not. But I've talk to people who have done it and be like, no, don't fucking do this.
It's like I mean the only way I could explain it is like it's essentially like being in a mall that you can never leave, and all of the like workers and servers and everything like that are like from some horrible background in like Croatia or like they're all like former genocide like victims and stuff.
Oh my God!
So it's like you never ever want to start up a conversation with any of your servers or anything like that because they'll be like, oh, enjoy your steak while my whole family like tries to live on Yugo parts.
Wow, Andrew, you're never gonna get a job with Carnival Cruises.
I'm not. Like Royal Caribbean has already thrown out my my application.
Yeah, I've just heard it's bad. You know what's fun though is if you go on YouTube and you search for like crew. I don't know what you would call it, like cruise rocky waters or something. Like there's
Like
all these
river
like
cruises or
no,
something?
no, there's all these like videos of when a big cruise ship hits like really rough seas.
Oh, nice.
And like these people who thought like, oh, I'm gonna be on, it's gonna be great.
Right.
Suddenly, all the fucking like tables in the dining room are all sliding one way and sliding the other way, and people are freaking out because they've all seen Titanic.
Right.
And like but it happens, you know. It's like no matter how big your cruise ship is, you could still hit some pretty big waves.
Right.
And then like it's the perfect storm time.
Well, like when you traveled to New Zealand and I traveled to New Zealand,
yes.
and like did you take the boat from like the North Island to the South Island?
Yes, I did.
Like that's apparently like that route is supposed to be like pretty treacherous. Like there's boats that have sunk and stuff like that on that because like there's just I guess there's these like trade winds that blow through those two islands, and so like even like plane travel is like like kind of hairy in that car because there's just all this wind coming off of water and mountains and ocean and like
Wow.
lakes and stuff. And it's like I remember like getting on that boat there, and like for a while there, I mean, like I think they gave you like tips on like seasickness and stuff like that. But there was a good like I think half an hour or so where like the boat was really tipping like from side to side, and after a while you just get like ugh, like you just like you're just seasick.
You know what? Maybe I was there at a different time, but like I didn't get any of that. I went back and forth on through that strait, and just was like, this is boring.
Like this sucks. Like I wish this boat would sink. But like I have a couple friends too that are like that are, and it's weird because I have one friend in particular. Like I won't name him, but I don't want to shame him, but he's about my age, maybe 4 or 5 years older, and really into cruises. Like him and his wife, like all they do for vacations is go on cruises.
Well, it is sort of like the resort of the ocean. Like when you go to a resort, they make it so you don't ever have to leave the resort.
You don't actually have to experience any of the culture of the place you're visiting.
Right, exactly. And that's basically like a cruise where everything is contained, and then you can just like look over the side.
I always love.
Once you're done looking over the side, though, your cruise is over.
There's nothing else to see. It's water. It's still going to be there like a million years from now. But like, and the weirdest part about that particular person that was really into cruises is that for the most part he works as like an airline engineer for Boeing. So the person that builds the planes is like the one that's like, I never want to fly anywhere. I only want to take a boat.
Speaking of which, I just flew to and from Vegas.
Right.
And every time we go down into to make our descent into McCarran Airport in Las Vegas, it's just like always rocky air. I don't know, maybe because it's like you're coming out of the Sierras there, and maybe like
super warm or like
the air, the warm air is like rising. But I've never had one like smooth flight to Vegas.
Yeah, it sucks. Because otherwise Vegas is like paradise.
It's going to be exciting when you think you're going to die as you're descending.
You're like, think of all the money I won't lose if I crash. So how was Las Vegas? Like
Las Vegas was fun.
You were there for a little while,
nice
right?
For a week.
Oh, nice.
It's good. I spent all my time downtown.
Yeah.
Didn't go to the Strip once.
Wow.
Had a very typical Las Vegas story where the first night I could not lose, whether it was at the sports book or at the tables.
Right.
And then the rest of the time there, I was just chasing the dragon, losing left and right. It's almost like they can smell it on you. Like, this guy just got here. Let's let him win.
Yeah, because like that would be like Vegas's worst nightmares if you show up like the first day and
you
like
lose.
Immediately get turned off and be like, well, this place sucks. Like,
exactly.
they need to like they need to bait the trap, as it were.
The first night I was there, I was hanging with a couple friends, and we went to the Golden Gate Casino on Fremont Street, and I was like, oh, Golden Gate, like a very exotic place like San Francisco. Oh, I wonder what their themes are going to be.
Right.
And we went in there, and we sat down at this table, and Golden Gate Casino is one of these casinos where they have like go-go dancers, and they also like switch, and the go-go dancers deal cards.
Oh, right. Wow. Are they qualified to do both? Like,
Right.
It must be like geniuses.
Well, the first night I was there, and they were teaching this dancer to deal.
Okay.
And it was amazing. It was like let's just say,
identifying the cards was a problem, or
let's just say like math is not her strong suit. And
well, luckily you don't need that when you're playing blackjack at all. You don't have to like quickly add anything.
and like she was super nervous,
Oh, boy.
but she just kept giving me great cards, and I was like,
Well, and she's a stripper. Like,
and I was just like,
how could you be mad at that? It's like, oh, this like super hot dumb girl is like giving me money.
I told her, I was like, hey, you know what? I know you're nervous, but you're doing awesome.
Your plastic surgeon also doing awesome.
Fantastic. And I just could not lose with her. And as soon as like they brought in somebody who usually does it,
Right.
you know, the hands go a lot faster, and then you lose a lot more.
I loved actually. Like I just watched the most recent episode of the Amy Schumer show last night, which is pretty good sketch comedy show.
Yeah, she just got
And,
chosen as in GQ magazine as one of the top 15 funniest people.
Well, she's got that going for her. But anyways, in part of her show, there was a sketch about like sort of a plastic surgeon that would do all of the work at once. So it's just like, are you tired of like waiting and going through like different procedures and having people talk you out of things? And it's like you can get like all of your bad ideas out at once, so you don't have to like rethink it. And one of the guys, like the testimonies, was like, so like, have you always dreamed of looking like a half man, half person, half cat that looks like you just swallowed a handful of bees? There's something about the swallowing a handful of bees for plastic surgery that I thought was great.
Well, you know what? Like her premise is that, you know, if you have a little bit more time to think about it, you probably wouldn't fuck yourself up.
Yeah, it's like somebody that would do like a full sleeve tattoo all at once and just
Right.
have you put everything that you're drunkenly thinking of on.
But that's not true. You know why?
Yeah.
Because, like, look at Michael Jackson.
True, yeah.
All he needed was, like, one person, one close friend to be like, hey, don't fuck your nose up anymore. Or don't, like, you're a good-looking guy.
I'm willing to bet more than, maybe one or two people. I was going to say like a bunch of people, but probably he was surrounded by nothing but yes men, I would imagine. So like,
Yeah, towards the end, sure.
like, I can't imagine that crazy Jamaican doctor of his trying to talk him out of anything that costs money.
It's like, what did he die of? Like, anesthesia? Who does
Yeah,
anesthesia? Like,
Well, yeah, it was just like one of those this is one of those things they're rushing to outlaw. Like, you know, it's like here's something I found at a dentist's office. Like, go ahead and plug into it.
yeah, so Vegas was good.
Excellent.
And yes, it's weird because when I was flying out of Vegas, I think it was warmer in San Francisco than it was in Vegas when I
Wow,
left.
that's unusual.
Yeah, because we had some very unusual weather last week.
Right. Well, I'm sure like Las Vegas is definitely one of those places where if they hear anyone from San Francisco complaining about the heat, they're like, yeah, like, guess what? We can't go anywhere that's not air conditioned ever.
The air conditioning kills me, my throat. in
Ah,
Vegas.
it's the worst. Yeah, like I think Nick DiPaolo once described it as having like a nose full of Triscuits after like a day. It's just like,
Well, that's because Nick DiPaolo's doing a lot of coke.
well, that's true too. Well, we got like a ton of there's been like ridiculous amount of stuff going on. So you want to
let's
take a break and collect our thoughts?
I want to be alone with my thought.
Well, I mean, like first of all, we have to decide where we come down on the Donald Sterling situation, like whether we're pro or con.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It might be very controversial.
That's a good tease.
Yeah.
So people will
So stay tuned.
All right, we'll be back from El Rio. All right, and we are back at El Rio in the Mission.
Rio. For and why are we here? Why did we decide to go to a bar with
Because
a
it's Cinco de Mayo? Because today is Cinco de Cuatro.
Cinco de Cuatro? That'd be the 5th of the 4th, right? It's Cuatro de Mayo.
Oh no, Cuatro de Mayo. Yeah.
Hey,
I'm not. I'm not bilingual. In fact, I'm barely lingual.
not what you would call able to speak Spanish at all. But
Isn't Cuatro the name of a character in Total Recall?
no, that would be Cuato. I believe. Like, no, this is not the. This is not the holiday to celebrate like the guy that lives in that guy's stomach covered in mayonnaise.
Well, you know, I watched the remake of Total Recall.
Oh Jesus, how was that? I couldn't even bring myself to like.
Oh, I could bring myself to watch it. Oh yeah, it's got like two of the most attractive brunette women
really?
working today. It's like Kate Beckinsale
Oh, I
and
didn't know she
Jessica
was in that.
Biel.
Oh Christ! Well, why?
And Kate
why haven't I
Beckinsale
watched
is
it?
amazing. Like in that, she's just like this really ruthless character, and she's super beautiful.
Right,
You're
right.
just like wow. But there was no what was his name? Quantro.
Quato.
Quato. There was no
Quantro.
Quato in the second one. Spoiler alert.
Oh, well, that sucks. Like, what did like? So the guy's stomach had nothing on it. It's just a regular stomach.
I forget which comedian wrote this, but someone said they went to see the RoboCop reboot.
Oh
and
yeah, that was the other one I was going to mention that I couldn't bring myself to see. Like,
And I guess like they took out the line "bitches leave"
Ah.
from the first one. It's just like, why are you even making this?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the, so you took out the one part that I fast forward to every time that I watch it, saying Jose Ferrer be a complete dick.
Okay, so yeah, tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo.
It is, and I did some research on Cinco de Mayo, and in Mexico it's called El Día de la Batalla de Puebla. Sorry.
Okay, so I know Dia means day.
So it's the day of the Battle of Puebla, which is like a suburb of Mexico City, I think.
Isn't that where the Better Business Bureau is? Puebla, Colorado?
I believe that's, yeah, exactly. That's where you send off for weird, mysterious information about something, and like.
I don't recognize that government.
What are you, Cliven Bundy? Cliven. I think that Cliven Bundy might be like the luckiest guy, like since like remember like wasn't there like that senator that got like caught like cheating,
Larry Craig?
Well, there was like somebody who got, was immediately like pushed off of the front pages by like 9/11 or something. Where it was like, yeah, they were all set to be just like dragged through the street and like fucking beaten, and then like, yeah, like, oh my God, like there's we're invading Iraq or something. That's like,
right.
Thank God.
So if people don't know, because you had to like remind me who with Cliven.
Cliven Bundy?
Cliven Bundy was, because I was too busy in Vegas losing money to follow current events. But yes, he was this horrible racist, or like very effective racist, I guess, in where, Arizona?
Nevada.
Nevada.
Yeah, right, probably right next to where you were. Like you were probably hanging out with them at the tables.
And he was grazing his cows somewhere they shouldn't have. And I guess he made some really racist comments. And then after that...
he made the racist comments after everything, like, pretty much. So, like,
but soon after he made those comments, bam, Donald Sterling shows up.
Oh, yeah.
And steals the front page.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, for racism, too. So it's not even, like, people that hate racism, like, got to, like, focus on Bundy anymore because they're like, oh, shit, like, this guy's, like, so much more racist.
Right, exactly. Like, yeah, if you were one of these journalists who's like, my specialty is racists,
right?
Like, you would be like, oh, now I got to go Donald Sterling. Sorry, Bundy.
Yeah, it's like you've got some farmer or whatever like that like, wants to tell you what he knows about the Negro.
Right.
And, like, but then, like, compare that to somebody who actually owns black people that is racist. It's ridiculous.
And also, like, think about it, like, who is really surprised that some, like, rancher in Nevada...
He's like, we found a racist in the middle of Nevada.
It's probably not that progressive when it comes to race relations. But, like, yes, but it is kind of like man bites dog like, this guy who owns a basketball team in a league which is, like, 85% African-American, he's telling his mixed-race girlfriend not to bring black people to the game. That's, like, the perfect, like, storm for journalism.
Like, it's like one of my favorite things to do during like a scandal like that, because that's got to be one of the fastest playouts for anything like this ever, because like normally it's like, like, hey, you're a racist, okay, give me 6 months to tell you why I'm not. This was just like, you're a racist, fucking everybody knows it, you're a big piece of shit, get out.
Well, this is the interesting thing about this, is that like the night before that story broke, I was in Vegas talking to my friend Lisa, who's a Laker fan. And I had the very similar conversation with comedian Chris Garcia, who has been on the show.
Right.
Where I said to both of them, as Laker fans, can you support, now that the Lakers are having a down year, can you support the Clippers in any way?
Right.
Because they're having a good year.
Yeah.
And they both said the same thing. Well, Chris said, fuck that team, I hate that team. And Lisa told me, well, I don't really have anything against the Clippers, the team, but she's like, that Donald Sterling is just a fucking horrible person.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, it's anybody who knows, like, the Clippers or basketball, nobody was surprised.
Oh, no. That's the thing, is that I got the feeling that even, like, when the commissioner, Adam Silver, like supposedly called him and talked to him. And I think, like, according to records and everything like that, the conversation went terribly because Donald Sterling was like, fuck you, I don't care. And, like, it's just like, well, we're going to ask, we're going to, like, ban you. Or, like, he's like, fuck you, that's, my team. Or, well, and, like, he just was an asshole and, like, maintained being an asshole all the time.
Well, this guy, he had to pay $2.7 million in the largest discrimination suit ever levied against, like, a slumlord.
Right.
And then he got $2.5 million in fines from the
In
the NBA.
Right, right.
So it's like, and like that, his first one, that was like a long time ago. So anybody, like, if you didn't know that Donald Sterling was a horrible, horrible person, then you just weren't paying attention.
Well, and it's not even like if like the Clippers and Lakers like basically changed histories, and like the Clippers was this like championship winning like pedigree franchise or whatever, like it would be one thing, but like not only was this guy like an awful human being, but like he ran the team like a piece of shit for years, where basically his he would come out and openly say like, I don't really care if we're winning or not, like I'm making money. Like because I have like LA television deals, and I have like some deal with like the LA Sports Arena or whatever like that. So like I can lose like 90, I could lose 83 out of 82 games every year, and I'm still gonna make money. So fuck it.
Didn't he settle some lawsuit with Elgin Baylor? Like it was a discrimination lawsuit.
Oh, probably. I'm sure. Yeah.
And then like there was this period of time where. Who was the point guard for them?
Pooh Richardson?
No, Baron
Chris
Davis.
Paul?
So Baron Davis.
Pooh Richardson. I'm happy with that poll. Eric Piatkowski?
You just love UCLA point guards. But yeah, Baron Davis went down there, and he was like one of the best point guards in the league. And like apparently, like Donald Sterling was yelling at him to lose some weight from like front row, like calling him fat.
Right.
It's like, what are you doing?
I'm sure Donald Sterling was like, well, in fairness, in my head, I was calling him a fat, like, N-word. So I toned it down a bit.
Yeah, I mean, and Deadspin wrote an article about, like, what happens if the Clippers win the championship. Like, wouldn't that be terrible? Because, he's going to fight, like, losing the team.
Right.
So every time they win... and they have more home games. There's more money in his pocket.
Right. Well, I found it.
I mean, he still has to pay $2.5 million in fines.
Like it's almost disturbing that that like right after like Adam Silver like the commissioner or whatever like banned him from the league or whatever.
Who looks like young Nosferatu?
Of course. But like but it's like literally like seconds after that, all the sponsors returned and everything like that. Like everything was just a-okay. It's like, well, this scumbag still owns the team.
Yeah.
Like you guys. I mean, and that was sort of like the fascinating part about watching all this unfold was like, you had some sponsors that immediately like jumped out and like sort of realized that like this was a big deal, and then like you had like other like franchises that are like, let's see how this plays out. It's like those it's like those companies can come off looking actually much worse than if they pulled out even it's like. Because, people are going to be like, wait a minute, like, so you saw all of this happen, and you're like, yeah, but still, it's like the Clippers.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You jerks.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be, like, really horrible if they won the championship, because then you're just kind of like, oh, what are we doing? Like...
Well, and it does suck that, I mean, you have other areas, even in Southern California, that like, would, I'm sure, support a basketball team. Mm-hmm. But like the same thing with like the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim or whatever, like they have to put Los Angeles in it so they can get all the TV money, and like and so that like you don't have teams that will like go to like Anaheim or anything like that because like there's so much less money in it, even though it's a joke. I mean, like both of those teams are like living jokes where it's like you're never going to be the Lakers, you're never going to be the Dodgers. Like knock it off, go somewhere else.
Well, maybe we have some listeners in Orange County who could explain this to me.
Yeah.
When I was blogging for a A's blog last year, I got to go to a lot of games. So, and you get like a sense of like the other team's fans who visit.
The ones that travel anyway, yeah.
The ones that travel.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, like the Angel fans were the fucking worst. Like the Tiger fans, super sweet, really nice. And you think like, oh, it's Detroit, they're going to be,
right.
It's a tough city,
Yeah.
And you think like, oh, it's going to be like this unruly crowd. No, they were all total sweethearts. The people coming up for Angels games were just the fucking worst. They're like get in your face, yell at you and stuff. And you're just like, what are you doing? You're jockeying Anaheim. You know that, right?
Right. Like you're like, and if like I mean most Oakland A's fans that go to games are probably not from Oakland even like they draw from like
Alameda.
Yeah, they draw from like Fremont and like East Bay all over the place. But like I mean, if the crowd at an Oakland Gays game, or Oakland Gays, excuse me, if an Oakland Gays game,
We'll cut that out.
yeah, we should.
I actually thought that when we were going to start this podcast, we should call it. We'll cut that out.
It'll be like 5 minutes long every week. But like, if the Oakland A's crowd matched like actual Oakland or like East Oakland, then the Anaheim fans would never say a word. They would never go to a game. Like they'd just be like, "This is horrifying." But like, so, I almost in that case, I want Oakland to sort of step up and like beat the shit out of those people.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not.
Like,
I don't support violence in any way unless if someone deserves it.
But it's not going to affect Oakland's reputation if some people at an A's game beat up some people from Anaheim.
Exactly.
People aren't going to be like, Oakland is like a dangerous place. What happened? Oh, Christ.
Right. You want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's take a break and we'll come back from ElRio. And you know what? When we come back, we'll talk about the bar.
That's a good idea. They're like they're like setting up big speakers and stuff like that.
Looks like there might be a band coming in.
Yeah, we might have to. We'll have to
vacate.
Talk fast or tell them to shut up.
Hey, we keep it down over here.
Excuse me, we were here first.
I've seen some comedy shows here. It's really they've got a nice little stage inside over here,
and
in the backyard. It's like perfect for like bands.
Yeah, totally. Like, I mean, it's amazing to me that there's at least 6 or 7 apartments like directly that look out over this whole courtyard.
I always assume if there's like, hey, how's it going?
Just so you know, in a few minutes I'm going to have to clear this stage.
Vacate? Sure. Yeah. Okay. We'll vacate.
No problem.
Who's the band coming in?
It's a dance party, so there'll be DJs.
Nice.
Probably some performers.
Cool.
Thanks.
Nice. I always assume that anything above a bar is just like the office for the bar.
But these clearly, I mean, like these are 3-story buildings, several of them. So like they can't have all of this as office space.
So they're gonna have a DJ come in.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a dance party.
A dance party. Like yeah, we can certainly move and see how it goes to begin with.
Yeah, we can move over here.
Oh, no problem.
Use this table to set up a
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
Yeah, she just
cool.
explained. We're
right.
wrapping up and we'll be out of your hair in
No
a second.
problem. All right. So let's take a break and we'll come back from the ElRio. At ElRio.
Hey. Oh, hello.
Little did we know it was gonna be a dance party.
I know, yeah. Like,
which is great, 'cause,
we got
like-
the bums rush really quick out of there.
Well,
But, But I mean,
it's a perfect space for a dance party.
exactly. And that's when we were looking for a space to record, we said we want to sit in the DJ booth.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, go ahead.
But they also have like 2 beautiful cats that have just been hanging out here in the patio the entire time, and I was wondering, how are they going to react to this dance party?
I think we'll find out. We'll find out that they're probably a part of the show.
Yeah, they're probably used to it.
They're like roadies. Like they're just
They kind of look like they just got back from 10:15.
still worn out.
Yeah. Ooh, I just need to lay around for a while.
I think when I was driving here, like I saw some people getting out of like the End Up or something like that because like it was very goth for like noon. Like,
Well, the End Up is, it's got the perfect name because that's where you go after all the
like
the dance clubs close.
Supposedly it like starts there at like 6 a.m. or something. Like,
Well, it's just they call it the Sunday Tea Party.
okay.
And that's where, when you get kicked out of the dance club, you just walk on down to the End Up, and then I don't know, score more ecstasy.
I was gonna say like when the rest of the city has told you to knock it off, you're way too high. You can go to the End Up. Christ. So so here's something that happened. I don't know if you caught this or not. This is like maybe 3 days ago, but like somebody got caught trying to smuggle 81 pounds of marijuana through Oakland Airport in two pieces of luggage. So they had 81 pounds. Like, it was basically like 2 giant pieces of luggage full of pot, and like somehow they got caught.
Well, this is my question. Like, okay, now that's stupid, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but have you ever seen drug dogs at a TSA checkpoint?
No, I don't think
Yeah,
I
I
ever
never
have.
have.
Yeah.
So-
and actually, Doug Benson famously says that he constantly carries drugs through U.S. airports, and he's like they don't care. Like they're looking for guns. Like
Yeah, they're looking for weapons.
Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
if they, even if they, but I mean, 81 pounds is 81 pounds. Somebody
Yeah,
has to be
yeah,
like,
that's a little.
Yeah, you
that's like
can't do
overkill.
this. It's like
Hopefully
we're willing to
it's-
overlook a little.
Hopefully, it's not one of Doug Benson's friends who was like, "Well, Benson said it was okay."
Right. Well, I was thinking like right after I read that, like whoever did that, like they must be like so puzzled at the idea of like people smuggling drugs up balloons up their ass and stuff like that. They're like, why don't you just pack it in a bag? Just like, well, because that's illegal. It is. Like, oh shit! Like I had no idea. Whoa. Uh-oh.
Getting a little windy out here.
It is, yeah. Like
This
but,
this
we'll
bar
see.
has been here forever.
Yeah?
Like like I said, like we go to a lot of bars where they're like brand new.
Oh yeah,
they're like,
especially here, yeah.
5 months or like things have changed hands.
Right.
But ElRio's just been here
They
forever.
can't all be old stalwarts like I don't know, fucking Trick Dog. I guess.
Trick Dog. I'm glad to see that there was yet another list of the douchiest bars in San Francisco,
Oh,
and
of
Trick
course.
Dog made it.
Ah,
Although there were a few on there, like the Hemlock was on there, and I was like,
Right.
really, the Hemlock?
yeah, that doesn't seem right. Like
I forgot who put that thing out.
yeah,
but
everyone's definition of douchey is pretty different. Like it might have been this place I was reading a couple of Yelp reviews for, and like somebody, or no, I think it was a different bar, but somebody. In fact, it was the City Club, a very Mexican bar in the Mission.
Oh, right.
And somebody said like, "Oh, this was described to me as a dive bar," but I walked in and there were like no white people in it. And it's like, well, that's not what dive bar
What the
means.
hell are
idiot.
you talking about?
Like, it's like, well, this place was described as a dive bar, but they had beer. It's like, I don't know what you think dive bar means.
I wanted to pay a lot of money for this beer.
Exactly. The drinks were reasonable, and people seemed to work for a living there. Like, what kind of dive bar is this? But it's weird. But like, yeah. So like, I mean,
but-
have you've been here multiple times before?
Multiple
correct?
times, yeah.
'Cause I think I've maybe been here once before.
It's just like this flagship Mission bar that,
Right.
like I said, like it's great inside. They've got like a stage inside, but their patio is just amazing.
Right.
And it's just like it's sunny, or you can sit in the shade where we are. There's a big, beautiful
Yeah.
lemon tree. They've
Oh,
got
totally.
hummingbird feeder.
You got some bare wires hanging next to your head. There's like a old bike nailed to the wall. All kinds of crazy shit. It's like a TGI Fridays out here.
It's a big lesbian bar too.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it's like
So, that
maybe
if
we'll see
any of our
some
listeners.
of the crowd from the Lexington Club. Maybe we'll.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see them. I hope.
I love the Lexington Club. I know we're doing a
Oh, my
barcast.
God.
I shouldn't be talking about other bars that I like, but like I do. I very much like the El Rio, but
Right.
the Lexington Club's a great bar.
Yeah, the DJs are currently setting up, so hopefully we'll be treated soon to.
I like this sort of
Right.
Sunday afternoon DJ
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Like if somebody's up on a 3-day speed bender, like what are they supposed to do on a Sunday?
Yeah. What am I supposed to do? What am I gonna go to bed?
Right. It's bullshit. So I'm sure one of the main things that you did in Las Vegas was watch the basketball playoffs, which unfortunately so far have been a real snooze.
I just got.
It's really, I mean, even before, like last night's Game 7s weren't like the best Game 7s I've ever seen.
All the home teams won.
But like, yeah, which sort of belies the fact that like this has already been like one of the best playoffs I can imagine, like in history. Just because, like every, with the exception of like 2 series, all of them were just ridiculously tight.
Yeah. And it was, I mean, if you were just like an outside observer and you were watching games,
Yeah.
that'd be great. I mean, I'm sure you were super entertained. But if you're someone like me,
But you don't know what suffering is. You're sort of like heading in that direction.
not to brag, but I lost 3 large parlay bets on 3
Not usually
consecutive
something
nights
people brag about.
all by half a point.
Oh,
and
so
when you
awful.
lose, when you have money on a game, first off, when you have action on a game,
Yeah.
it's so much more entertaining. But when you lose by half a point
Right.
and it's going down the stretch, it just drives you crazy because, like, there was one game where there's like meaningless like free throws and Manu Ginobili's not even taking it seriously
Right,
because they
right.
got a comfortable lead and they didn't fucking cover. And then there was another one where Kevin Durant, who's one of the best players in the league, misses 2 free throws down the stretch.
Right.
And all I needed him to do is hit one of them.
Well, that's the thing is you not only do you bet like with the spread or like and all
The
that
point spread, yeah.
but you do a lot of over/under bets too. Like
That's another one, yeah. And like that's
just like that's almost torture because like you don't even care who wins at that point. You're just like everybody chuck it.
well, that's why I do like the over bet because like you're cheering for everybody, so it's super positive. Because if you take the under bet, you're just like
I hope this game sucks.
you're just like fuck everybody.
It's like I hope there's 10 Roy Hibberts playing.
That guy's terrible. So I try to take the over bets, but you know what? I'm a few years ago, the company I used to work for moved to Vegas, and they really wanted me to move to Vegas, and that was probably it was 2004. So it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I probably would be dead, or like in the back, dead in the back of some gangster's like trunk.
Be like toothlets outside of the Four Queens, like asking somebody for spare change.
Yeah. It's good. It's good for me to go to Vegas, so I get to see a lot of old friends.
Right.
But it's like I'm like one of those people. It's like Vegas is great. Get in, get out.
Yeah,
Get in, lose all your money, and leave.
Right, like run home once it's kicked the shit out of you, rather than like because that's got to be the worst. Is if you have like a stretch of like a horrible week or something like that, but then you still got to live there, so you're going to try to double down every day after that.
I feel like I've never actually departed Vegas. I always escaped it.
Right.
Like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
He's like, keep the credit card. I'm out of here. Good Lord.
All right, you want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a quick break and there's still wads of stuff to talk about. It's
all right,
been a crazy couple weeks in this crazy country of ours.
Yeah, we took a week off because I was traveling.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll be
Hopefully
back.
everybody listened to the clip show because like I know that's exciting.
All right, this is SFBarkast, and we are at ElRio in the Mission. And we are back at ElRio. ElRio on Cinco de Mayo
De Quattro.
Eve Day.
Eve. Yeah, I guess that would work.
Well, it's not. Doesn't Eve mean like? Yeah, it means the evening, right?
Well, yeah, but Eve. I mean, like Christmas Eve is the day before, so.
Okay, whatever.
So
I'm gonna allow it.
Let's spend another 20 minutes talking about whether it's acceptable. So, I have a question for you.
Go right ahead.
And that is, I recently, and I would say at least 60% of this would be for my wife. Like, so it's like her tastes play into this too.
Whatever you're about to say, you're basically blaming it on your wife.
Pretty much. But the Mountain Winery in Saratoga.
Ooh, I've been there.
Yeah, you have?
Mm-hmm. Saw Hall and Oates there.
Hall and or Oates.
Well, when I went, as everybody knows, I've always been a big Hall and Oates proponent.
Right.
And when they came around, this is before their Renaissance.
Yeah.
And they tickets were $85 each.
Ooh.
And I was like, no way, I'm not paying. I paid $50 for Hall.
Right.
And like maybe 10 for Oates.
Right.
And then the day of the show, they had like 2-for-1 specials.
Oh.
So I got to go with the girl I was dating at the time. So
anyway,
the
Mountain
concert you're
Winery.
going to is in Saratoga.
Yeah, and it's a winery that's on top of a hill. It looks kind of cool. I mean, it's
nice.
I mean, the crowds are usually pretty horrendous because it's like all tech money and like and all that kind of stuff. So like, it's a lot of wine sipping shitty snobs. But it's a cool venue anyway because it's like sort of carved into the side of the hill and it's got good acoustics and all that shit. But so they released their whole summer schedule or whatever, and the show that I bought is the frontman for a band that my wife loves that has never toured since I think they disbanded back in the 90s or 80s or whatever.
Okay.
A single musician that is also of the same era, a male single guy. Musician. The third is another front person for a band that like either broke up or doesn't tour anymore, and the fourth is like a female band leader that like I never enjoyed, but like.
So you're basically saying there's 4 people in this band.
Well, no, they're all performing individually.
Oh,
But
so it's a festival kind of thing? Oh,
yeah.
There's...
So it's like 4 separate acts.
Okay,
But
all right.
But it's like, but it's sort of like the front man from
So
like
I
a
have
bunch
to
of
guess
different...
every act?
No, you don't have to. I'll tell you.
Wait. No.
Oh, okay, so
Well, how much did you pay?
the tickets were $100 a piece, but we're pretty close. And like, and it was something where I'm like, oh, you know what? Like, I know my wife loves at least 3 of these acts. Or 3 of the people that are involved in this act. I can't even call it like the band, because like
all right,
it's just the lead singer for the most part.
Is Howard Jones?
Howard Jones is one of them.
There
Very
you
good.
go.
Like right off the bat.
Is one of them the guy still alive from CNC Music Factory?
I love it. Well, are we talking the people that actually sang the song, or the models that like did their video?
Is it the lead singer of the High School Works?
No, it is not. I'm not sure where you'd find him.
And it's not Richard Marx.
No, Richard Marx.
All right, so I got one of them. I got Howard Jones.
I would not be right there waiting for you to buy tickets to that.
Is it one of the guys from, not Better Than Ezra, but Gene Loves Jezebel?
No, not Gene Loves Jezebel.
Okay.
A band with multiple hits in the 80s. I would say 5 or 6 even. Definitely sort of new wave
Tears for
pioneers
Fears.
along with... No, not Tears for Fears. Like, get in the right ballpark, though. It was actually 2 guys and a girl.
Oh, Pet Shop Boys.
No.
Bow Wow Wow.
No.
God damn it! Is it Soft Cell?
No, it's the Thompson Twins, and it's the lead singer of the Thompson Twins.
So he's married to the girl.
Guy, yeah, but it's for some, I don't know if they got divorced or what.
Okay.
But it's just Tom Bailey of Thompson Twins.
That album was produced by Nile Rodgers.
It was.
From
You're right. From Daft Punk.
He was like the
Pharrell.
Right. He was like he still is. If he's working with Daft Punk, he's still like this superstar producer. But
Totally.
like he was like this mega producer in the 80s.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
he's got a very distinctive sort of like rhythm guitar kind of like thing that probably music snobs would be like, yeah, he's doing the same thing every time. But it's like
He's the guy-
everybody else is like, this is awesome.
He's the guy I always cite when I talk about like a 80s music producer going, okay, this is all good and fine, but where's the sax solo? So who are the other bands?
Okay,
there?
yeah,
Who's the person you never really liked?
It's and this is ridiculous. This is like something you would see in Vegas, and it's Katrina of Katrina and the Waves.
I was just saying, like, I hope that band didn't sell the rights off to their one hit. Because you hear Walking on Sunshine everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Like I'm sure like anytime a movie trailer's been made, Katrina gets to buy like a summer home somewhere.
If she didn't sell the rights away.
Yeah, she could. Yeah, she probably like who knows? Maybe she.
And she could have been like, "What? You're gonna pay me a whole $100?"
She'd be like, "So let me get this straight. You get the rights to my music. I get this bag of Coke."
Oh yeah.
Like, well, fantastic.
It's done and done.
Jeez, you should have held out. I would have done it for half a bag of Coke.
So
then
who's the last one?
The last one is one that probably couldn't be guessed in the history of time, but it's the lead singer. I put name is something like Midge Ure or something like that of Ultravox.
Oh right.
Of Vienna and what's their other big song? Oh crap! I can't believe I'm.
I can't believe you remember one.
Vienna's their second biggest song. Their biggest song was something even bigger than that.
Forever Young?
No, that's Alphaville, goddammit. Alphaville, get out of here. Big in Japan, not in your house, apparently. So it's those 4. So that'll be fun to see old people see how many wrinkles Tom Bailey has on his face. We covered Howard Jones already. Who's
Hojo,
who the only other opportunity I had to see him, or like I've had plenty, I'm sure, but like was it
Foxwoods?
Not Foxwoods. What's the other one?
Mohegan Sun.
Yes, and there's like an
which
area.
Is, if people don't know, it's one of the two massive Indian casinos.
Because everybody from Massachusetts comes there.
It's one of the 2 massive Indian casinos in Connecticut.
Right. And sort of like it's where every reprobate in southern Massachusetts goes every weekend.
Yeah, let's go to Foxwoods.
To play some pie gow. Anyway, once we were walking through there and like we saw like there's like a free stage as you're like gambling. Like it's in the middle of like a slot machine like section. And like it was like, oh, next week Howard Jones, this week like Air Supply or something. It's like this is crazy. Like yeah.
You know, I went to the Hard Rock Cafe when I was in Vegas last week, and some of it is kind of I like rock music, and like I did my time as far as classic rock in high school. Like I know all these songs.
Yeah.
And so I think you think oh, this will be pleasant.
Yeah, this will be fun. This will be like hanging out with 38 Special.
It's fucking horrible. You know why? Because like people aren't as sort of blasé about it as I am. Like suddenly I'm in the bathroom and I hear some drunk girl outside singing along to Feel Like Making Love. Or, whatever Steve Miller song that they played.
Like the horrible thing about just rock and roll in general now is that like nobody under the age of 40 says like I love rock and roll music.
Yeah.
Like so anybody that like associates with that and is like I want to go hang out where there's rock and roll music. Like they're all going to be like dads.
Right. Or or even if they are, they probably there's only like 5 good like rock bands out there, and it's like it's like the Black Keys and 2 other bands.
Right. Well, that's the thing is like what I would consider good rock music now, like people probably don't even like process as rock music. They're like, Queens of the Stone Age. That's like a mystical biker rock or something. Everything's like completely like subgenre.
Well, also like I went to a party at the Hard Rock Cafe once with a friend, and we went dressed as the Hives.
Yeah.
And we were walking around in these white suits with like these black shirts and these like white bow little like southern ties.
Everyone's like, it's Bizarro Colonel Sanders.
People would say, well, you guys supposed to be Colonel Sanders? And so we're at the Hard Rock Cafe, and we're like, oh shit, nobody knows who we are. Great. And then we were leaving, and we realized there's a poster for the Hives. They're playing the Hard Rock Cafe in like 3 weeks. And we're just like, people still don't know who we are.
Right. Like
because
they probably went to the show the next week, and they're like, hey, I think I saw one of those guys.
Yeah, one of those guys like lives here, doesn't he?
I think they just hang out here.
So whatever. It's like, yeah, if you want to be like surrounded by some drunk people, singing along to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. The Hard Rock Cafe, that's for you.
Well, the only like association that I even make with like at least the Hard Rock Casino is like there was some like horrendous like reality show that was like I only saw like bits and pieces of, but it was like the whole thing took place in the cabanas and around the pool at the Hard Rock, and it was just like there was like such this bizarre hierarchy of strippers that like worked as waitresses there, and so it's like and people are spending like $5,000 for a stupid cabana next to the pool, and of course they have to have like bottle service where they're paying like $1,000 for Smirnoff, and it's just awful. It's such a weird
the thing.
scene.
Like if you're having just got back from Vegas, strippers and like dealers or generally any like woman who lives in Vegas, who gets breast augmentation,
They have many that don't probably.
They have no concept of subtlety. They're just like, take the biggest thing in the office and stuff it inside my chest. And like it's just like it's totally out of control.
Right.
At some point, like if you're like a regular heterosexual guy, you're like, oh yeah, I like breasts. And then you go to Vegas and you just see this like, and you're like, well, I'm not a 15-year-old guy anymore.
Right. It's like I like breasts. I don't want to be injured by them.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I don't want one of them to like blow up and like dump like hot liquid plastic all over me.
It's basically Las Vegas is basically what every 15-year-old boy beats off to.
Well, that's the thing that's crazy about that is like none of this is done if there isn't like a heavy profit in it. So like clearly there are like tons of people that are like, I want to go to Las Vegas. I want to see the biggest, fakest 50-year-old tits I can see.
Yeah, it's like either that or like if you're a doctor that does that, like you never have to worry about like a down period in business.
Right.
When I first saw her
Hey, you want to go over the GQ? I consider this like a comedy podcast, and we have a lot of comedians
heard,
on.
yeah. I've heard people say that.
So let's go over GQ magazine's their list of 15 funniest people alive.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody knows on the front cover is Louis C.K., and he is the top. So after that, we have Amy Schumer.
Okay, I wouldn't put her that high, but I think she's very funny.
She's, they say 15 funniest people alive right now.
Right.
So, it's not going to be like Richard Pryor on here. Okay. So, Amy Schumer, Key and Peele.
I you know what? I really like them, but I they're hit or miss for me a lot of the time.
I like their stuff that people like point out to me. Like I don't watch their show religiously.
Yeah, I think I tried watching a few episodes of their show and it's good. It just the people that tell me to watch it say it's great all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm just like it's good, but it's not that great.
It's like I don't watch Amy Schumer's show religiously either, but I like some of the stuff that people post.
Totally, yeah.
The Silicon Valley players,
what
which
the
include.
Fuck is that? Those are actually people. Okay.
Well,
I thought it was some sort of an improv group.
Well, it's like some comics that I know, like Kumail Nanjiani.
Kumail Nanjiani's good.
T.J. Miller and Mike Judge.
Oh, okay. I completely misunderstood that because I forgot that there's a show called Silicon Valley.
It's actually really good.
It's a great show.
Well, this is the thing. Like when I meet people who don't live in the Bay Area and talk about Silicon Valley who've watched it, they're kind of like, yeah, it's all right. But I can totally understand that in that like some of those jokes are really regional. You know, like when they're like talking about why should the rents be so high in Silicon Valley? The place is a dump.
Right.
It's like, yeah, like you trying to explain that to somebody in Vermont. They'd be like, why is that funny? I don't know.
Well, yeah, exactly. And even to anybody that works for like a regular company that that just does business, and so many of the jokes and everything like that are about like this weird sort of subculture in Silicon Valley that's just like, these crazy wide-eyed goons that are just like, we're all going to be billionaires. And all we're doing is like, creating the future. Like, what have you done? That kind of attitude.
But let's face it, Mike Judge is funny. Even
totally.
I think Idiocracy is not a great movie, but it's got great moments.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
Okay.
There's actually speaking of that, one of the best tweets I saw was from, I can't remember, I think it might be somebody I know named Khan, like K-O-N, but he said that after watching Silicon Valley, he said what's cool? $1 million. You know what's cooler than that? Beavis. From Mike Judge.
Okay, next on the list is Kate McKinnon from Saturday Night Live.
She's definitely the standout from the last few years, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, the guy they just brought on, who used to do those AT&T commercials. I guess I hear his star is rising as well. Next is John Oliver, who's getting his own show, and don't you kind of feel like John Oliver is like the guy who missed out because, was it David Letterman? He retired, and then Craig Ferguson said that he was going to retire.
Oh, so he could have had one of those spots.
Well, John Oliver, he signed on with HBO to do a weekly comedy show, when he probably would have been in the running for one of those two. Probably not Letterman's.
I saw the pilot episode of that. And
is it good?
It's the thing is, I like a lot of the choices that are made and stuff like that. Like it's odd that it's essentially like a half-hour show that's just like the Daily Show. That's on once a week because that almost automatically gives it more expectation in your head. You're like, well, they've had a whole week to work on this,
right? Yeah, exactly.
And and it's you can only pack so many jokes in.
Yeah, exactly. There's probably a bunch of good jokes that they got rid of.
Yeah.
They couldn't they couldn't didn't make the cut for the 1 week show.
Right.
So the next is Kevin Hart, Kevin Hart's a big movie star, and so somebody's got to be going to his fucking movies, but it ain't me. Next is Nick Kroll, which I totally agree with.
Yeah.
Nick Kroll's Kroll Show is amazing.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's amazing.
And next is Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Also an amazing show. Yeah, I'm constantly amazed at how good that show is and how good she is in it. Because I think that fair or not, she was sort of tied to Jerry Seinfeld for a long time, and people, I think like the difference between her and like Jason Alexander is huge. Like Jason Alexander like hasn't really done anything great since Seinfeld, but Julia Louis-Dreyfus, everything she touches is pretty funny.
He's too busy like counting his money.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And Julia Louis-Dreyfus was the last one on that list.
Yeah.
But like I love that show.
Oh, it's great. That's amazing.
I mean, first off, the cast is ridiculously good.
Yeah.
In Veep, it's just like, and not only is it really good, but like some of the best people on it are the people I didn't expect to be good. Like you expect Matt Walsh to be great,
right.
And Tony Hale to be great.
Yeah.
But like one of the best characters is that Jonah character, and I had no idea who that guy was.
Yeah.
And like even the girl from My Girl.
Anna Klumsky or whatever.
Yeah, Anna, she's great in it as well.
Totally, yeah.
And also, I want to say that last week's episode of Veep was her in Silicon Valley.
Oh,
and between the show Silicon Valley and Veep, it seems like right now the for comedy writers, like Silicon Valley is their favorite target. Because
it's
in the show Veep last week, that she goes to Silicon Valley, and one of the big computer companies offers her assistant Amy a job. But they're going everywhere they go. People are playing ping pong and riding razor scooters, and it's like they offer her a lot of money. And in the end, she just goes, "Yeah, I can't come to work here because I'm a fucking adult." I'm just like, perfect.
Well, the crazy thing, going back to that Silicon Valley show, like, the guy that plays like essentially like the sort of big mogul that's giving him all the money, like that's great in the show. Like he died like 3 months ago.
I was wondering who he was because I think I've seen that actor.
And it's it's such a great role in the show. Like it sucks that they're going to have to sort of write their way around that and everything like that because like that guy's the best part of the show so far.
The other great role is there's the guy who runs the huge computer company there, and he constantly has these super positive ads with him with African children and like making wells, and you can tell he's like been photoshopped in.
Well, and he's the same guy that was in that show Big Love. That like he was like one of the like the biggest like crazy fucking and, like so it's like perfect casting for that because he's like the same sort of like megalomaniac but just
we need somebody that people can inherently tell is full of shit.
Cool.
All right, you want to take a break and we'll come back and wrap this up?
Definitely. Yeah, it looks like the DJs have been screwing around a little bit, so they're probably going to.
Yeah, it's almost time for us to.
They're going to kick it at any moment.
All right, this is SFBarkast. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back at El Rio.
El Rio on Cinco de Cuatro de Mayo.
Cuatro de Mayo.
Cuatro de Mayo. Cuatro with mayonnaise.
So, Andrew, what do you think about this bar?
I like it. I mean, for a day like today, like
I feel like we came on a perfect day.
Totally. And they're definitely going to start up with DJs and stuff like that. So it's going to turn into a different deal very soon. But at the same time, like it's just a great great warm weather place to come hang out.
Yeah.
I don't know if during the winter and stuff like that. Like I'm sure it's fine inside and stuff like that. It's not a.
And I bet this patio back here is really nice at night.
Totally,
it's kind of lit up and it feels kind of outdoorsy.
They got heat lamps and shit. So like
the only point I'll take away from this place.
Right.
I like everything about the El Rio.
Yeah.
Except when I was in the bathroom, I saw like the worst tag I have ever seen. Like if you're
worse than pussy juice.
Right. If you're like somebody who is tagging bathrooms or something, you want to pick a name that is people will remember and it's kind of cool. Yeah, so this one tagger in there, his tag is job creator.
Well, he didn't even have like the
I know he's trying to be
creativity
funny.
To like spell it differently, like with a K or something.
No,
it's just like I'm a job creator. That's what I am. Like, of course, that's what's going to be my tag.
I know he's trying to be funny, but
still,
you're not
funny.
You're not funny, and you're actually whatever. The way he tagged, it actually seemed kind of like he knows what he's doing as far as like graffiti.
Well, maybe he like took like a artisan graffiti class at like San Francisco State or something.
Right. He said, "There's two things I really love: is graffiti and tax cuts for the rich."
All right. Well, it looks like they're cranking up the tunes.
All right. So, what's your final analysis, Phil Joannou?
I think it's a great place to come on any sort of warm day. Great, like sort of afternoon drinking spot. It's like totally gonna be one of those like cases where they keep cutting the music, and I'm gonna be like, "God damn Mexicans!" You know? Not that I would ever say that, but like, but yeah. So yeah, it's just it's a great fun place to come. The Outer Mission, like, can't recommend it enough. So
yeah, it's great.
Like,
it's a great bar, and it's been here forever. So.
And nothing. None of the draft beers were working when we walked in, but they said they would have that fixed within half an hour. So
that's just like
I'm not gonna
little
hold
bump on the road.
Exactly.
They'll be fine. All right, this is SF Barkast. Everybody have a happy Cinco de Mayo tomorrow
and safe. No, fuck that.
Safe, yeah. We're reminding you to please drink responsibly. Wink, wink.
And don't drive or anything.
All right, this is SF Barkast. I'm Jeff Cleary.
I'm Andrew Lauder.
And we'll see you next time.
Woo!